Welcome everyone to another AZ Ray video. Today we're going to talk about caught stealing. Caught stealing is directed by Darren Aronofsky, a fellow anthropologist. So, we had to talk about that in this channel. So the way we're going to break this film down is that first, we're going to talk about the plot, a little bit about the summary, the anthropology and crime. Then I'm going to ramble a little bit about the ending because I had a lot of problems with the ending. And then I'm just going to wrap it up with my movie review. So there's going to be timestamps below. In case you guys don't want any spoilers, you can guys choose your own journey. We'll have timestamps as we normally do for our videos here at AZ Ray Videos. So you choose your own journey, how you guys want to enjoy this. So let's get into it, guys. The plot and the summary. The film itself is a very compelling, dark comedy, action thriller going on. It's a very simplistic film compared to other Darren Aronofsky films. So it's a straightforward plot. It's pretty entertaining overall, and Austin Butler does a great job of getting into his vulnerability and some of the different psychological and traumatic and the various turmoils he has to deal with within himself. So it's a very interesting story. We also see the various hardships and challenges that the main character overcomes, and we just see all the chaos that life throws at him and the way he's able to navigate it. There is great standout performances from Regina King, Austin Butler, Zoe Kravitz, Liev Schreiber. The cast does a good job overall to give you a compelling story. So that takes us into our next section, which is the anthropology of crime. The reason why I want to talk about the anthropology of crime is because there's a lot of different dimensions where it comes to this film. And when it comes to the anthropology of crime, it shows the different dynamics between the police officer as well as the criminal. We see researchers like David M. Moore talk about the level of intelligence and of social awareness that criminals need to do to survive and thrive. He often talks about the examples of pickpocketers and how they scan their environment and they see what's around them so they can see who a potential victim can be, and they can read their potential victims and see who they can take advantage of and feast of, kind of like some kind of hunter and whatnot. And then the police and the undercover police, they have to also be very incognito, unassuming, and blend into the background. So we have this game of cat and mouse where we have both the criminal and the police officer. They have to work off each other's dynamics and be aware of each other. And so we see these different challenges. Since criminals are often seen as these brutes, but there's actually lots of deeper psychological awareness that they have, and they're very aware of their environment and their society, sometimes more aware than the average person, since they're always analyzing everything around them. And some researchers even talked about it, when they try to actually research and talk about these criminal things, that sometimes they do a worse job when it comes to being incognito and whatnot, because it's not a very natural thing unless you come from that type of world. Another element at the anthropology of crime is the psychology element. We see the misery and the desperation elements when it comes to the criminal element of the anthropology of crime. Because we see the misery, right? Because the misery fuels the need and the depression of the environment, whether it's some kind of drugs, they're trying to fulfill some kind of void. Because most of the time, criminals, especially if it's some kind of bigger organization, they usually try to give their local society, their local community, some kind of need that the government isn't doing, right? You see examples like cartels in Mexico and South America, as well as other syndicates like pirates and other regions like Somalia or other regions around the world where they do these criminal activities, but they also give back to their community and they help their community, right? So you see the misery and the challenges that happens to it too. And they're trying to fill a void because you have to be desperate to be a criminal. And the current economy depends on corruption. It's a sad truth, but it's the reality of it. The world that we know it exists and thrives because of corruption, whether that's because of the drug trade, whether it's because of sweatshops, whether it's because of money laundering or all these illegal activities. The world benefits from it because it creates more economic options. And the world does benefit off the drug trade, right? Whether it's getting more additional drugs to use for medicine, like cocaine becomes lidocaine. And even though there's parts of elements that are trying to be relieved from drug challenges, like legalizing drugs, it still doesn't stop and prevent the issue, as well as there's a giant consumer base, right? The world has a drug problem, and these criminals are feeding into that. So we see all these different psychological elements where we see like corruption and greed, unfortunately, are help the world go around. And so that's where the layers of anthropology of crime becomes more complicated. There's a lot of gray when it comes to criminals and the police and corruption because the world thrives on corruption. And I haven't even talked about political corruption, which also plays a role into criminals, racial profiling. This is a big can of worms that I don't want to talk about everything about it because then we'd be talking about this and rambling for a long time. I just want to talk about a little bit of the familiarity regarding this topic because the anthropology of crime is a very dense and important thing to talk about because, as the word itself, anthropology, the study of humans, unfortunately, crime is one of those things that actually thrives and makes sense in this corrupt modern world. So now that takes us to the Ramble. Spoiler alert warning. If you guys want to skip ahead, you can skip ahead. But I'm on a ramble, guys. I got some problems with the ending, man. My goodness gracious. Skip ahead if you want to. But if you want me to rant, I'm going to rant. Okay, dude. So the ending is so unrealistic. Guys, listen to me. So the film was grounded in realism. It had all these compelling stories. It talked about, the criminal underworld, and we have our main character trying to navigate it, right? And then we see him confronting one of the bigger threats of the film, right? We see him having to face off with a Russian, potentially Ukrainian criminal that knows how to fight. And he's confronted with them towards the end of the film. And all of a sudden, Austin Butler has the best left hook of all time. He thinks he's Gennady Golovkin. He can time this guy that knows how to fight. And all of a sudden, he's like a superhero that can just perfectly time a punch. Guys, look at me. Director, zoom in. Zoom in on me, please. Please zoom in. Look at me, guys. You know how hard it is to freaking time a punch? It's one of the hardest things to do in boxing, period. And all of a sudden, within a span of like 2-3 days, he can harness one of the hardest punches to do, period. If it was a 1 or 2, like a jab or a straight, it would make a little bit more sense. And I guess there's this argument, be like, oh, well, the mechanics of swinging a baseball and swinging a hook are very similar. They're not. I don't care. Oh, he's super athletic. He was like a person that could have potentially been a major league baseball player. So you're telling me baseball players can become like these amazing boxers? No, dude. You kidding me right now? Come on, man. And that part of it completely took me out of the film. Maybe it's not the film's fault. Maybe because I know this film is based on a book, and maybe the book has this part of it in the plot. I don't know if I should complain about the screenplay person or if this exists in the book, so it's not the movie's fault. I don't know. So the only other thing that you can kind of work in the defense of Austin Butler's character, the reason why he was able to time the hook is because he had an aggressive target. So there's this mechanic, right? So if somebody's coming towards you when you're fighting and you catch them, you have double momentum that's working against them because you have their weight going towards you and your weight going towards them. So that's what creates a KO because you have the way it works when it comes with physics is that if someone's coming towards you and you're coming towards them, and if you time it just right, the opponent's weight and your weight hits them at the same time. So yeah, that kind of makes sense that okay, it's easier for him to catch the opponent because the opponent's coming towards him. And if he times it just right, he's able to catch him. Yes, lucky punches exist, but come on, dude. And the thing is too, is that the fact that he can somehow throw a perfectly timed punch and he knew how to arc the punch just right. So maybe, okay, another thing, and maybe Austin Butler's defense is that maybe in the grip, because the grip of baseball, it is kind of like a punch, but you know how many times you hit somebody, if you're boxing somebody with no gloves, if you're in a street fight, I've been in some street fights. You know how hard it is to catch someone perfectly in the knuckles? Because these two knuckles are the only real knuckles that really help you out in a fight. The other ones are just supporting it. These two knuckles are the only knuckles that matter. You know how hard it is to catch someone like that clean? Yeah, guys. Sorry for the ramble. And I haven't even talked about the other things that bothered me about the film. But yeah, if he was going to catch him with the hook, maybe make the hook a little bit more practical. Don't give me this perfect timing hook that all of a sudden he's like this amazing boxer. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. I get that he was more prepared, but his preparation's like, yeah, I'm going to swing a baseball bat and do amazing in the batting cages, and now I'm prepared to throw the perfect left hook. I believe it was a left hook. Might have been a right, but I believe it was a left hook. But it's like, I don't know. That's just like, come on, man. At least give me a scene where he's like practicing, you know? Show me, like, put me in there, and he's like in the restroom and he's just like practicing that left hook. He's practicing that left hook because it's like, come on, guys. You know how hard it is to do that? And the other thing, too, like, to have a good hook, you have to be like tight and close, right? And your elbow placement is really important. How did he know elbow placement? How did he know how to catch him perfectly? How did he have all of a sudden this awareness and accuracy to, like, I know I'm rambling, guys, but like it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It completely took me out of this film. I was even debating on giving this a 6. But I get that I'm biased because I'm a martial artist and I'm somebody who trains, and I get that I'm just nitpicking the choreography and whatnot. Don't get me wrong. The hook looked great. Austin Butler did a good job on delivering the hook, but with no explanation that why he can all of a sudden be an effective boxer and he can catch that person, it's like, come on now. Some of the other problems of the film that I had with the ending that are not boxing related is I found it a little unrealistic, like the way he was able to kind of like escape. And there was like this escapism element, like, oh, now all of a sudden I'm going to be like my friend, and that's going to be enough for me to get away with this crime, and we're going to wrap this up. But I think my gripes with it, like I said, it could be connected with how the original story of the original book was connected. It was just a little unrealistic to me. It was still overall an enjoyable film. But yeah, come on, guys. You know how hard it is to throw a punch like that? It takes like years, man. There's like, I don't care if you're the most athletic person ever and like you can pick up things easily. I just don't agree that like you can pick up something within a span of days or even hours, right? I have to like really like reflect on it, but I want to say the plot of the entire film is within a couple days. So like within a couple days, I'm just a left hook master. I'm just the greatest left hook ever. I'm Roy Jones Jr. It's like, come on, dude. Yeah. Thanks for listening to my ramble, guys. And if you fast forward, that's okay too. Now we're going to wrap this up. Movie review. So some of my closing thoughts on the film. Overall, it was a good film. It was a fun ride. There's a lot of great performances. And overall, it tells a good story. As you may have heard earlier, not sure if you skipped ahead to my ramble about my problems with the film, but it was an enjoyable film. It was a good film, but I'm going to give this a 7.1. I was going to give this a 6, dude, but just because of how upset I got about the whole boxing element, but it was a good film. I can't pick on the director or the screenwriters too much or the choreographers, but it was a little unrealistic to me. And I guess I understand that I'm a little nitpicky when it comes to certain elements regarding martial art elements when it comes to films. So I get that's a little bit of my problem, but it was an enjoyable film. So yeah. Thank you guys for checking out this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share this video. Send it to your mama, to your papa, to your neighbor, to your enemy, to that girl, to that non-gender binary that you spend gaming at. Like, dude, tell them a new AZ Ray video is coming out, dude. Let's grow this channel, you know. We're on the race to 500 subscribers of the posting of this video. Come on, guys. We can get there. And I can't do it without you. It don't charge you nothing to subscribe. Just subscribe, dude. Come on, dude. Support the little guy. Come on. You know you want to. Take it easy, guys.